Hey guys, welcome to episode 25 of Teens and Faith Catholic Conversations. I'm your host Annie, and I'm joined by my co-host Gianna.
Hey, what's up?
So before we get into this episode, we wanted to start off with our prayer. O Saint Philomena, Virgin and Martyr, pray for us that, through thy most powerful intercession, we may obtain that purity of mind and heart which leads to the perfect love of God. Amen.
Amen.
So Gianna, what do we have coming up this episode?
This episode, we will be interviewing Stone from Minor Seminary. Um, that sounds so formal, kind of. I don't know. It sounds like weird. I don't know. But yeah. So we'll be interviewing him. Uh, yeah. So yeah, we'll be interviewing him, and then for our topic. So we've found out that we are not very good at doing like saint topics or
Nope.
anything like that. So what we're instead gonna do is for this topic, we are going to read a saint quote and then kind of talk about it, like how we think of it, how we view it, and stuff like that. So,
hmm
yeah, uh, yeah, like I have like this quote book that I got for Christmas of all the saints and everything, and there's one for today that I'll be reading. So,
Yeah.
one on the day we're filming. So this is December 30th that we are
Yeah,
filming.
and
So,
right before you go, Gianna, I just want to add, let us know what you guys think of this. If you don't like this, then we'll try something else. But we're just like so bad at topics because we're still teenagers, right? So we're getting better at the interviews. We still go, yeah, yep, cool. Like we do that way too much. But yeah, so it's hard for us to do topics because we don't have that life experience yet. So, I mean, we could try to come up with more topics for like teenagers, but it's kind of like we can't go like talking about the sacraments or like baptism or whatever, like and it's
mhm.
it's hard because like we want to give you good Catholic content, but it's like we don't know what to talk about. So, if you have any topic ideas, let us know and we will do our best to not sound like idiots, but no
Yeah.
promises.
Exactly. Yeah. So that would be very much appreciated. Just let us know. But yeah. So what have you been up to, Annie?
Uh, Nothing much. I pulled a Gianna there. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, literally nothing much. I mean, I'm Gianna made me stand up right now and she told me my outfit's really cute, so that made me happy. To all the girls listening, it's like a white long sleeve shirt with like a super pretty pink skirt. Not like a girly pink. No, yes, a girly pink, not like a little girly pink.
Mm.
You get girls
Yeah.
girls will get what I'm saying. Yeah,
Mm.
I love my outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically it. What about you, Gianna?
Yeah. Um, not much again. Trying to think
Shocker,
of something.
shocker.
Oh, wait. All right. Pause the interview. I'll be right back. Okay, so instead of talking about something that happened to me, my brother Bennett has an interesting story that he brought up the other day, and I'm like, hey, you should tell that on the podcast. I think people would like that. I think it's funny. So here's my brother Bennett, and he'll be telling his story. So there was one time in QAS where there was like, I think it was like a math problem, and a teacher asked me to answer it, and I got it correctly. And I forgot to mute my mic, and they heard me pounding my chest and doing that. And all of a sudden, I heard everybody laughing. I'm like, wait, what? And then I saw I was unmuted. I'm like, oh, um, and yeah. Yeah. So
Wow.
did that make sense, or like, you know?
Yeah, no, that I totally got that. And moral of the story is we need to teach the Larsons how to unmute and mute because I feel like this will keep happening. So, I think we need to get them a tech lesson probably. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, exactly. Thanks.
Thank you, Bennett.
Yeah.
This
So,
this is how boring Gianna is, guys. She had to bring her brother in because of how
yeah,
boring she is.
exactly. Right. Well, yeah, because we were listening. What happened was we were listening to the Elias and Elias interview, and what was it? Oh, I brought up my embarrassing story where I didn't mute, and my teacher heard me, and so Bennett brought up that story of how he got so excited he got a math problem, right, and started like pounding his chest like he was a gorilla. Um, yeah, and I was like, "Oh, that'd be perfect for the podcast. Yeah, you should say it on the podcast." I'm like, I can't reenact it now because that would be really weird. But
Yeah.
yeah, so Yeah, there's a story for you. Mhm.
All right.
Yeah, and yeah, now we'll be moving on to our topic. So,
Topic.
yeah, our topic, our saint quote, or kind of. All right, so this quote is actually from our Lord to Saint Catherine of Siena. So, God says, everything that happens in the world happens by order or disposition of God, and he never allows anything to happen to someone which is not for his best. So, that's pretty good, pretty accurate. Yeah, I was thinking about it because I'm like, okay, before the interview, I was like, okay, what do I say about this? I'm like, well, so I went through a more of a tough time. Like I've moved like several times in my lifetime, and I lived at my first house. I had friends, just like next door friends that would always come over. They were sanguines. They started the conversation. I did not. So I was just used to that. They just came up to me and we'd become friends. Especially when you're at a young age, you become friends with anybody. But then we moved into an older neighborhood. So a lot of the people around were older. Their kids had grown up, moved out, that sort of thing, and I had no friends. I was homeschooled. I didn't have any friends. And I went through a really tough time because I didn't have friends until like 2 years ago. Like that, like actual Catholic friends until like maybe 2 years ago. Um, and like there have been times where like I'll just break down crying, because like I don't have anyone. I don't have sisters or anything like that. Um, and my cousins are like my closest in age girl cousins who are also Catholic are living by Annie, or living,
Yep.
an hour away from me. So I don't get to see them often. And I just figured like it just felt like an eternity. Like I had a lot of hard time making friends, or even when I moved down to Florida, it was even worse. Like it was a different state, different culture sort of thing. Like it was totally new. And then I just wasn't making any friends. I actually did try to become sanguine when I was in Florida. I started off my life down there acting like a sanguine because I was like, hey, sanguines can make friends easy, and I'm gonna have to start the conversations. So, um, that did not work out for me very well, and um, I was actually just talking to one of my friends, and he's melancholic, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, you should not um change your temperament. You just have to, work on yourself and like be the best you can be in that temperament." So shout out to Frank, who told me that. But I was like, you know what? Thanks for that. I'll stop doing that. But I don't know why I went through such a period like where I didn't have any friends and it was really hard for me. But now I have friends like Annie and yeah, we get along really well. Um, and we're both Catholic and it's easy. Like we've had a good relationship so far. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so like God does everything for a reason, but most of the time we don't understand that reason. I don't understand why he has reasons for a lot of things. For example, like why did God create mosquitoes? Yeah, but maybe that like period of time was for the best.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny that you say that, Gianna, because I've had like I don't want to say the opposite problem. So basically, my parents both did not grow up Catholic. So when Elias and I were first born, it was like we were just I guess you could say lukewarm Catholic, Like we went to mass when we could. We said the rosary when we felt like it. Like it wasn't we weren't really good Catholics. And then so Elias and I were allowed to just make friends with like these like kids on our street, like Gianna talked about, just like random people. And as I've gotten older, obviously, like my parents have changed a lot and they are very passionate about the faith now, and I'm very thankful for that. But so like Gianna said, when you're a kid, like you make friends super easily, right? So I had a ton of friends when I was little. And I've had a problem of me and like a kid or just or take a random kid, I don't know, being really good friends, and then one day we just stop talking. And it's like, I don't know why. And like when you're a little kid, that hurts you really hard and you don't know why that happens. And it like it'll still happen like recently, kind of like within the past 2 years. So yeah, I lost a lot of friends growing up. So when I first met Gianna and she wanted to be my friend, I was kind of like, "Are you sure? Like, are you sure you're not just gonna leave me?" And then I met this other kid on Chat Chat, and now we're really good friends. And mm, he would always be like, "Yeah, I don't like we're gonna be friends forever, right?" And I'd be like, "No, we're not." And like this kid and Gianna were kind of like, "What are you talking about, Annie?" And I kind of told them they're like, "Yikes! Well, I understand why you think that, but." And then I always like for the longest time was kind of just like, "Yeah, I mean, they just don't like me. They don't want to be my friend." But maybe it was God's will who like was like, okay, you probably shouldn't be friends with these kids. Like forget them. Like you don't need them. And like me being sanguine, I need to be social. Like it is just something I crave. It is just something I need. Like I need social interaction. I need friends. And it's my entire life. My mom would always be saying like, you're better off with like two best friends than all of the friends you could ever imagine. And I'd be like, no, you're not, saying you're not popular. So, and now it's like I have that. Like I have my two really good friends, and I'm super thankful for that. And yeah, so it's kind of just like God's will be done, you know? Like you just gotta live with that. I know it's gonna hurt, but yeah, God does everything for a reason. So, yeah.
Hmm. Definitely. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I mean, we're not gonna know all the time what his reason was for it,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, like even at it too, because like I have my dad's parents both died when I was younger. Like my grandma died right after my brother Bennett was born, and then my grandpa died in 2018. And I was like, I look back at it and I think about it, I'm like, it was probably a good time to die because then they don't have to deal with the world right now. Like, but it would be good. I was like, okay. Um, then they didn't have to deal with all this other stuff going on. And okay, my grandma and my grandpa were both Nova Sordo Catholics, but it's like I don't know. Maybe God was like, yeah, I don't want you to be alive during this time. Or like, my uncle Matt died when he was 10 of cancer. And I'm like, maybe God was just saving him from something he would have done in the future, like something really bad, or something like that. I don't know. But you know, everything like the quote today, everything happens by order or disposition of God. So yeah.
Yeah. And it's like another thing that I've struggled with really hard my whole life is like respecting my parents because as a sanguine, it's like I want to fight and I want my
Mhm.
way. You know? That's like one thing I've always struggled really hard with, and I'm getting better. Because I mean, I think Saint Therese being a role model for me has definitely helped a lot, but it's like I don't ever want to do what my parents want me to do, you know? Because it's like, oh, go do your dishes. Like, why? Why do I have to do that? Like, my biggest problem is what I get in trouble for all the time is saying why. Because as kids, like, what is your duty? Your duty is to honor God, and how you do that is by honoring your parents. And I struggle with that greatly, which is horrible because that's like my only duty right now. That's the only thing like I really have to do. So, I mean, it's kind of that also goes on with like doing God's will instead of my will because it's like God gave us our parents for a reason. They are supposed to be forming us, so when we are parents or we're religious, we have a good forming and we don't fall into the ways of the world. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. We all have stuff to work on. I mean,
hmm
all it's our daily crosses that we have to carry. So whether we
Yeah.
choose to or not to. Most of the time, I have a problem with like choosing not to. Um, but you know, just keep trying, keep working at it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be something good that I was gonna say, but it turned out like terrible the way it came out.
It's fine. We just like we're going on a rant about all of our flaws, but anyways, yeah. No one's perfect. We're not perfect. I struggle greatly with a lot of things, so
Yeah,
gotta keep working on it.
same.
Especially teenagers. It's just like teenagers are just I don't they're so hard. Being a teenager is like you want to like be on your own and you want to be independent so bad. You're like I'm so sick of my parents' rules. I just want to get out. I'm counting down the days till I'm 18. But it's like I was listening to this Christmas script from Lisa Davis, and it was like honoring your mother and father is not just obeying their rules until the day you turn 18 and going off and doing whatever the heck you want to. It's like you are still subject to your parents even after you move out and you're 18 and you're on your own. Like you don't just get to like obviously they like oh you gotta go to bed by like 11 like they can't like they don't really have that power anymore, but they still have power over you and you kind of just have to realize that. And it's funny that I'm saying this because my parents are gonna be listening and be like, okay, Annie, you're the one to talk. Yeah, so it's just yeah, it's also really important for teenagers to remember it's like you have to be subject to your parents no matter how hard it may be. Like
Hmm.
it's something you have to do.
Exactly. Well, yeah, when once you become a teenager, you're basically a toddler, but like you can talk and you're more exposed to a
Yep.
bunch of different things. It's like,
Yep.
you know, that's why it's so important, like the priest will say, it's so important when you have like for a teenager to stay in the faith, to be more involved in all these Catholic practices and like, read about these teenager saints who were martyred, who died as a teenager and everything. Because as a teenager, you can stray away like that, like what Annie was
Hmm.
saying. You want to be on your own. You don't want to listen to your parents and that sort of thing. But it's actually really important to do that because otherwise maybe you'll stray away. Like when we were talking to Holly, she said she strayed away from the faith for like 5 years.
Yeah.
Um, Probably happened as a teenager. Like my dad, he really didn't have like a strong faith in anything, but like
Yeah.
he just got worse as a teenager. Like he made a lot of mistakes as a teenager.
Hmm.
I have an older brother who is still making a lot of mistakes, and it started when he was a teenager. Um, yeah. So listen to your priests, listen to your parents. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like it's funny that like we're saying this because obviously we still struggle with this a lot and it's just something like we're gonna have to do. And it's
Oh yeah.
yeah, and it's like yeah, and it's like for example, it's like also being able to take God's crosses and like being able to bear them kind of because for example, I was supposed to get my license yesterday. No, I was supposed to get it. No, tomorrow. Yeah, I was supposed to get my license tomorrow. And we found out like with something about insurance, like I just can't because my brother got into a crash a long time. Blah 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 blah. The boring adult stuff I'm not gonna bore you with. So I can't get it for a long time, and I wanted my license so bad because just having that freedom. I mean, except if my parents like literally will not let me leave the house when I have my license because where do I need to go? But anyways, just being able to drive a car alone, right? That'd be so awesome. And my mom and dad told me that I can't get it, and they told me that today, and I was absolutely heartbroken. Like I was crushed. Like I wanted to start crying. And I kind of smiled at my mom and was like, okay, it's how it is. And then my dad called me because they have known I've literally wanted my license since I was 5. Like this is something I'm so passionate about getting. Um, and then my dad called me at work and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, talking to my friends, "What's up?" And he was like, "Oh, you can't get your license." And I was like, "Yeah, I know, Mom told me." And he was like telling me the reasons why. And I was like, "Dad, it's okay, I understand." And he was like, "Are you sure? Like, are you just faking right now?" And I was like, "No, it's fine. Like, I understand." And it's obviously like that. I want to fight back and be like, "Why can't I get my license? Why did Elias get it when he was 15? I want my license. I want the same freedom he has." But it's like, it's just you have to accept it because maybe God's not letting me get my license right now because who knows, maybe I would take the car and drive off. Like you have you have no idea. So it's like maybe it's
Yeah.
a good thing I'm not getting my license right now. And it sucks a lot. Like I really want it, but it's accepting God's will and that's something that we struggle with really bad in the modern world. And I know I go into rants about this all the time, but it's true. And my mom is always trying to ingrain in us, like, you have to do God's will before you even think about your own will. Like, that is all that matters. That's why you're here. You would not be here if it were not from God. Like, you just have to do God's will. And like we were talking about, especially as a teenager, it's your will takes over and you only want to do your will. And it's really hard trying to like balance that out and yeah, we could go on a rant about this forever, but
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Like, yeah, okay, the parents probably already know this, like, oh, you're not perfect, you're awful. But for all the teenagers out there or like even younger kids, like I just want you to know we are not perfect at all. Like we may be
Not
telling
at
you these
all.
things. We will also try to practice them
Yes.
As we're telling you these things, because otherwise that would be bad as well if we didn't practice them. But
Yeah.
yeah, like we struggle with the exact same things.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like we say all this stuff, but I was listening to Mandy and Holly one time, and like the best way you can convert people is not just by telling them stuff and then doing the exact opposite about like what you tell them to do. And it's like you have to actually live what you say. You gotta live your faith. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm Catholic, and then like, I don't know, go have parties every night or something. Like, you can't do that. You have to actually live your faith. And so my brother's super into music and he just like goofs around, writes his own songs, whatever. Probably never gonna post anything. And he wrote this song called Costume. And it's basically about a teenager wanting to cave into the world and like being like, I want these things, I want to sin, I want all these things. And then somebody's like his conscience pulling him back and being like, no, stop caving in, like you have to do this. So my dad's always telling me like, Annie, don't wear your costume, like the stuff you say on the podcast, you gotta do. And I'm like, I know, Dad, it's hard. You were a teenager once as well. Like, it's yeah, it's really hard. Definitely something I struggle with. I'm sure all of you struggle with it. It's just, yeah, it's part of growing up, part of being a teenager, you know? So.
Yeah.
And now back to the happy interviews where we don't go on rants about how awful we are.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So now it's time to interview Stone. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Stone, 15, you know how it goes. Oh man, I live in Podunk, Corpus Christi, Texas, down south, so live right by the border. Um, it's hot here. It doesn't feel like Christmas in any way. It has no
Yeah.
snow, and best we get to that is when it's dark. So it's hot outside right now, and that's about it. Like,
All right.
and I'm redheaded, so
Yep.
Right.
I know how that goes.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
he's more redhead than I am. I just have like tints of red in my hair.
Okay, so what are some of your hobbies?
I like to, well, I used to, I don't do it as much anymore, but I really like collecting Legos. That was kind of fun. Um,
Yeah.
but I really enjoy reading. Um, I try to get better at drawing. My whole family's good at it, and I'm not. So I got to try and get better at that. Um, so I do that, and then I like to go and hang around the town. I like to play basketball too. That's fun.
Okay.
And uh, I like learning. I sound like such a nerd.
That's okay.
Yeah.
What kind of books do you like to read? Like, do you have a favorite book you've ever read?
Yeah, Lord of the Rings was probably the most in-depth book I've ever read in terms of
Yeah.
writing. Like I was astounded by how good it was. Um, but that's such a cop out. And then I really enjoy like post-apocalyptic books because I
Okay.
just really like reading about like when the world is destroyed and then it comes back to civilization. So there was this one. It's like um, The Canticle of Saint Lebowitz. It's like a fictional novel, but written in the 50s, no 40s actually. It was really good. It was really good. And so I read that one. That was probably one of my favorite post-apocalyptic books I've read. So,
All right. That sounds pretty
That's cool.
interesting.
Yeah.
But have you seen the Lord of the Ring movies or just read the books?
no, yeah, I've seen those. We own all of the what is it called? Extended edition ones. So we own
Ooh,
those ones.
yeah, we do
So
too. That's awesome.
I really only watched those ones. I haven't watched the other ones. So it's like when it's not the extended edition, I'm like, where's this part? Where'd it go? And
Yeah.
like
Which one is better? Do you think the movies or the books are better?
the books are all the way better. But I couldn't imagine like if I didn't see the movies first, I wouldn't have probably read the books. And
Yeah.
I'm glad I watched the movies first because you see the characters from the movies in the book, you know, the way
Oh,
Mm.
they look
okay.
and stuff.
Yep.
So it helps
Yeah.
visualize it, you know.
Yeah,
hmm
yeah, definitely. I heard the Lord of the Rings books are kind of hard to read, like for some people. Is it hard to read for you?
Yeah, well, the Fellowship is my least favorite. It's long and it can be a little boring in the beginning. I really like the Shire, but like, and he goes on the adventures or whatever, it gets really, really dull, especially with Tom Bombadil.
hmm
That's just my personal preference, though. But what is it called? Once it gets to the Council of Elrond and the Mines of Moria, it gets really interesting, and then it dies
mm
back down. So
Okay.
that's my take on the first book. But the other ones, after you read, once you get by the first one, you can go into the second and the third like nobody's business. Like it is easy and it's fun. It's actually interesting to read. So
Oh, wow.
All right.
Okay, that's
Good to
cool.
know.
Yeah.
Oh,
What is your least favorite book?
least favorite book? Oof. I don't know. I would have to say like a children's novel that I probably read because it was
Yeah.
probably the most boring and waste of my time. But I don't know. I'd say, oh, I know what it is. Yeah, so there was this book we read during one of these like school. We used to go to co-op, right? A school homeschool co-op, and
Mhm.
they made us read this book called like Scarlet Warrior or whatever, and it's about this like kid in this Gaulish tribe or whatever, and it's like I read that thing. I put myself through that. I tried to do good at it. And then none of the other kids read it, and we just moved on. That was probably the worst book I've ever read. Like,
Wow.
so,
That's horrible. I've actually, Elias, my older brother, has been in that same situation because my mom made us read the book Wonder. Have you guys ever heard of that?
uh-huh.
Like about that one kid? Yeah.
Yeah,
So Elias, I got mad that Elias was way farther ahead than me, so I just skipped through half the book, and then we just got to watch the movie. So he had to do the work, he answered all the questions, and I just got to watch the movie.
exactly. Yeah. That
Yeah.
was a pretty good movie, though. That was a pretty good movie.
It was really good. All right, moving on a little bit. What is your favorite food?
Beef stroganoff. It didn't used to be my favorite food. It was actually lasagna. But when I went up to Idaho, it became my favorite food because like I don't know what they did. Or maybe I was starving because I just got done like doing some manual labor. But it was the best beef stroganoff I've ever had, and it tasted amazing. Like I can't. It
Wow.
tasted really, really good.
Wow. I mean, we're having beef stroganoff tonight, so I'll have to let you know if it's good or not, because we haven't had
Yeah,
that in a while.
Yeah.
jealous.
Yeah, lasagna is pretty good. Lasagna used to be my favorite food too. We had it often, and that's probably why it's not my favorite food anymore. But yeah, but yeah, that's really good. Beef stroganoff's really good too.
Mhm.
All right. Pineapple on pizza? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, all the way. I love Hawaiian
Yes.
pizza. It's so dang good. Like that's probably my favorite pizza because it has that good sweet with like the like both. It's the ham is nice, it's nice and meat, but like then there's like the pineapple to like kind of ease the way through. I don't know. It is one of the best pizzas I've ever had. Like it is
You are
so.
allowed back on Stone. That is, most of the guys we've interviewed are always like, ew, why would you eat pineapple on pizza? It's disgusting. So, like, thank you for actually having taste buds. Like,
Yeah,
yes, that is,
it's my favorite pizza. It's so good.
yes.
Mm.
Remember
Me too.
one
I
time
always get it.
I remember one time we went to this like Peter Piper area, right? It's like Peter Piper pizza or whatever. And they put
Mm.
like this pizza out with like breadcrumb macaroni noodles on pizza. I don't know why, but it tasted really good, but I don't know why they did
Oh,
that. And so that's probably my
really?
second favorite because it just tasted really good. So
That's
Okay. I
interesting.
mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, how do you feel about margarita pizza?
I've never had it, so I wouldn't be able to
What?
attest
Oh,
to
you
it.
have to
Wait,
try that. That is so
I
what
good.
is
never
that,
even heard
Gianna?
of margarita
Yeah,
pizza.
neither
It
have I.
sounds
What are
good
you
though.
talking about?
It sounds
Okay.
good though.
Yeah, okay, it's not alcohol. If
Okay,
that's what
I
you're
was about
wondering.
to say, what
Oh,
do you
darn
mean,
it.
Gianna?
Okay. No, it's okay, so it's got like tomatoes and like spinach on it and everything like that and mozzarella cheese. It's really good and it's a good like Friday pizza since there's no meat on
Mhm.
it. But yeah, it's also spelt differently than the alcohol margarita. Um,
Okay,
Oh.
but
good
yeah,
to
it's
know.
really good. You guys should try it.
Every Friday we
All
just
right.
have broccoli pizza. Doesn't look very good. Doesn't look very appetizing.
Uh,
No,
yeah.
no.
I'm just kidding. We don't really have it. We usually just go for cheese, but reminded me of a
Okay,
movie I
I
saw
was.
where it had broccoli pizza, and I was like, that would be funny if anybody actually ate that.
Right?
Yup.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So moving on a little bit, we know that you're in minor seminary. Can you tell us like a little bit about it and like what it's like?
Well, it's really awesome. Um, the state and the location that it's in is a beautiful state, and like there's evergreen trees everywhere. It's really beautiful for scenery. Um, Whereas the community life, I'd say it's really good. Like, when you're there for that long, you just kind of grow. There's a bond, between you and all the
Hmm.
other seminarians, and so it's it's really awesome. And especially when you're working, like Saturdays, like our chore days where we have to go work on the grounds and stuff. And like usually you'd be like really tired and you're done, but like when you're there with everybody else working, it's a lot better. and you crack a bunch of jokes, and you're having a good time. So it doesn't feel like you're working really. So it's really, really awesome. And you get the work done fast too when you're like motivated. So I don't know. That was one of the best aspects. For school, it's really like the education's really good. Like Latin was my favorite class, and that was very interesting to learn, and I can't wait to go and learn it again. It's the only class I really look forward to in total. But like the other classes were really good, like theology and health. Math was not very fun. And and history was really good too. Choir, and then PE was probably the best class out of all of them because you're done with all the classes and you get to go in the gym and play hockey or soccer or something like that. So that was really cool. Um, but yeah, overall, it was an amazing time.
Wow. All
Wow.
right. Minor seminary sounds pretty fun, but I was also wondering who runs it? Like who's in charge of it?
Father Benedict is the principal. He's the in charge there. Under him would be Father Gabriel, and then after him it's Father Aloysius, and then after them it's Frater, and then all the other brothers down the line. So
Okay.
it's Frater, because Frater's a deacon now. Father Martin's a deacon, so he's the
Oh,
next in line.
wow.
So
Okay. That's
Okay.
three
really cool.
priests
That's
and a deacon, three priests, a deacon, and three brothers are the religious
Wow.
clerics there.
wow.
Yeah, it's awesome, and they usually join us for sports or other activities. Like Frater Martin usually and Brother Anthony usually join us for sports. Sometimes Brother Simon and Father Philip. Father Philip is not at the Mount, but he'll sometimes come over most of the time, and he'll be there and he'll hang out and do sports with us on the weekends and stuff. And then Father Benedict will usually join us for like an indoor game, like board games or something like that. Father Gabriel is very competitive when it comes to board games and sports. He's very competitive, and he'll join us for sports. Father Aloysius will join us for what's it called, board games as well. So it's awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds really fun.
Okay. How long exactly have you been going to minor seminary?
4 months now. This is my first term, so I'll be going back again in probably I think 5 days now. But I'll go back again, and that will be a whole different adventure because that's Lent, and it'll be my first birthday over there, which will be kind of fun. It'll be kind of funny. So that'll be something. And then what else is there? There's we do a bunch of stuff. Oh, and then there's the camping trip that we do, so that's gonna be a whole thing. And so I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a different year because it's gonna be a lot. I feel like it's gonna be a little bit harder than it was this year,
Mm,
considering there's Lent and all these other
yeah.
practices and stuff.
Yeah,
So,
Yeah.
that's cool. Could you tell us a little bit about the camping trip? Like, what do you do for that?
well, from what I've heard, they usually rent a cabin on some lake, and we stay there for like 4 to 5 days, like almost a week. So we stay there for that. It depends though, because sometimes it would be like 4 days, and then sometimes it'd be a whole week, and then sometimes it'd be like a weekend. It depends on what the
Hmm.
cabin is like and stuff. So, it'll go to that. And it's usually on a river. So we will either go hiking or we'll go on the river, rafting or whatever, which I'm looking forward to rafting if we have a life vest. 'Cause I don't know how to swim. So I,
Oh,
so,
Oh,
yeah.
oh,
So it's like, oof, if I fall off, I need to have a life vest. So
yikes.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but it's at the same time, it's like a little freaky because it's like, I don't know how to swim.
Hmm.
So,
yeah.
but there's that. Hiking looks like a lot of fun. There's like it's in more beautiful areas, so it looks a lot cooler there. What else? That's about it. Like, and we'll stay up usually. We'll stay up till like 11:30 almost every night, and we'll play board games or we'll watch a censored movie that's been approved or something like that. So that should be fun. I'm excited for it, and it's
Well, yeah,
it more days off school, so that's fun.
Yeah.
that's always nice. I mean, that sounds really fun for teenage boys. Personally, that sounds like it'd be horrible for me just because I'm totally an indoors girl. But I bet you guys will have a ton of fun.
Yeah, I hope we do. I hope we do. I hope I don't fall off the raft because that wouldn't be very fun.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you guys will be like required to have life vests, right? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't you
I
think?
no
I
no
think
way we
so.
wouldn't have to. I'd be like
Okay.
really like
Yeah.
you guys got to be like Olympic swimmers not to have life vests.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Going back to the classes a little bit. what classes do you like the most? And is it kind of like just like a regular high school class, would you say?
Well, yeah, I would say, well, some of the classes are regular high school classes. Um, Latin probably isn't a regular high school class, but I know that in most like quote unquote Catholic schools, they do teach theology, there.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's probably a normal Catholic high school class. Um, but I'd say my favorite classes would be like it's Latin, and it's history, theology, then health, then um, P, then choir, then math. So I feel like I'm forgetting a class though. Oh, and English. There's English class. That's right. English class is right below history class. So those ones are my favorites. Math will never rise to anywhere above. So
Yep.
I can't
Yeah,
stand
math
that
is
class.
horrible. I don't get math. I literally
I don't
want
either.
to
I can't
do.
stand it. I barely am getting by. So
Yep, I get like F's every test. Not okay, not F's, but definitely not
yeah,
above a
I get
D.
C's and D's, but
Um,
at least they're passing,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean, hey, because I'm like, I'm doing fine in all the other classes. Like, history is a
Yeah.
little rocky, but other than that, like, it's like, I'm not gonna need to know, like, how to solve the
I
area of a
don't need to
triangle
know the
when I'm ordering,
circumference
like,
of
a
a
Big
circle to
Mac.
buy a car. Like I don't need to know that.
Exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
what I would rather waste my time is with logic. Logic would be like, okay,
Mm,
that might be a little bit better for me to like think things through when I'm at a job
yes.
or something like that. But I don't need to know algebra to get far in life.
The only math I think you need is, like, finances and like business math or whatever, because
Yeah,
like that's how you learn how to do your taxes. But Gianna and I were talking the other day, and she's like, both of my parents were accountants at one point. I'm just gonna give my taxes to them, and they can do it. So it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, I guess that's the only math you really need. But like,
yeah.
I don't,
Well,
I
like
hate math
you
so
need the
much.
basics. Like I'm not all against math. I know you need the basics, like your times tables, your addition, your subtraction, and your
Hmm.
division. But like just take economics for 3 years like I did, and you'll be completely fine. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
not even joking, like that was probably the best class I've ever taken in my life is economics and probably
Hmm.
financial math. And that was fun. But like everything else, it's like, I don't need to know that. That's not smart. Like,
Yes.
and then the book Saxon is just garbage.
Oh, it's horrible. Yeah,
I
I do
can't
Saxon
stand it.
too. It's like, the
It's so
videos make
they
me
teach
so mad.
useless information. Like
I
Hindus
know.
created integers, and I'm like, okay, thank you, but we need to get back to math. And it's like,
Yes.
then they give me like 300 examples, and I'm like, okay, that looks pretty easy. And then we get to the actual problems, and it's like, we never learned that. And it's like, thanks.
No.
Like,
It's like
it's so bad.
it's so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to private school for a little while and we taught like they taught the Saxon books and then we get like 30 problems to actually do and it was like nothing what like we just learned in the examples. I'm like, what is this? Why?
Exactly.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I'm like, oh, like how? And it's like, well, you're just supposed to use this formula and this formula and you combine them. I'm like, well, you didn't teach me that. How am I supposed to know that? It's like,
Yes.
I know. It doesn't make sense. And like the videos, this one lady like that we watch that who does them, she talks so fast. It's like she's lit like if you guys have heard of Ben Shapiro, like she talks faster than Ben
yeah,
Shapiro. Like it's
oh man.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's so bad. I can't stand it. And it's just like I don't think anyone passes that in soaring colors. I mean, maybe a bunch of nerds.
Yep.
I can't
Yep.
click with it. It just doesn't click. And it's like, I used to be so good at math, like your clocks and your one plus ones and the times tables and division. And then it's like you hit algebra and you're just like your whole math attitude just sinks. And it's just like,
Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
so
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can get through the classes because if I get through this one and another one, I'll be done with math and I won't have to do it ever again. So
Yes. Yep. I'm with
That's
you.
true. Yep.
only gotta believe.
Yep.
Yeah. So, stepping aside from math a little bit, um, how did you know your vocation?
Well, what's it called? I just wanted to be a priest from like year 12 till now. But you just kind of see the problems in the church and everything that's going on, and you're like, well, maybe I can fix that, And so I always think like you need to at least give God some time, to discern whether the vocation is because that's the best option to do and not that way you don't have regrets when you do something else in life, you know. or you go somewhere else and you're like, well, I didn't even put into consideration this vocation. So that's what I'm trying to do. I think I'm going to be a priest. I hope I am going to be, but it's all up to God, really. And so I think the minor seminary is a great option, to fully and better, discern that. So, but that's, how.
That's a good
Yeah.
response.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really good answer. When I asked my like little, well, actually, okay, Father Bergman asked my little 8-year-old brother Nicholas why he wanted to be a priest, and he was like, "So I can go to heaven." And we were like, "Oh, okay." And then I asked him about it later, and he was like, "Name one traditional Catholic priest who didn't go to heaven." And I was like, "Okay, well, you don't know for sure, but also like good point." Like,
Yeah.
I was like, "Why did this 8-year-old just own me?" Like that was
Yeah,
ridiculous.
you can see the future,
Hmm.
hmm
read souls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so going back to minor seminary, do you have any like fun stories or memories you want to talk about that you made there?
Yeah, I remember it was funny. So anyways, we're at the lake house and I'm talking with like Father Philip and the brothers and with some of the guys there, right? Some of the seminarians. And we're there. And then there's my friend Diego, he comes like running in and he's like, Stone, hey, I got a joke to tell you. I'm like, okay. So I like stop. And the whole all the conversation that was going on just stops, right? So we're all listening to Diego. And he's like, I probably won't explain it very well, but here he goes. He's like, all right, there's three morons. And to prove who's the smartest of the three morons, they the smartest guy there. He asks them, "Okay, let's go into a mattress store and let's see how your knowledge on mattresses are." And they're like, "Okay." So they go and he goes, "Okay, moron number one, what mattress is this?" And he goes, "That's a king size." And he goes, "Great job." And he goes to moron number two and he goes, "Okay, moron number two, what mattress is this?" And he's like, "That's a queen size." And he's like, "Great." And then he goes to moron number three and he goes, "Okay, moron number three, what mattress is this?" And he's like, and it's like the bed, and it has like two beds, and one's on top, and one's on the other. What's it called? Uh, darn it. Anyways, I know what it's called, right? And I was like, I yelled out bunk bed, right? And he goes, very good, moron number three. And that one made the whole table light up with like laughter. Like the way he explained it, though, I'm not explaining it very well, but he explained it in a very good way. Like he did it well. And I fell right into the trap, and I didn't even see it, and it was just hilarious because I fell into it. So it was funny like that. Um, there are some other ones that we did. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain because a lot of the jokes you kind of had to be there to see. You know what I mean? Like,
Hmm.
Yeah.
because I can't really think of like some really funny, jokes that we did or memories, but I know there was a lot of them because you just were making jokes, you're having a good time. We peanut gallered a lot of movies that we watched, and that was funny. But then
hmm
again, you got to see the movie clip to know what the peanut gallery was. So
Yep.
I have a hard time remembering all of them.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah.
But the
I
lake
guess.
house one, that one stuck with me because that one I was like, I couldn't stop laughing. That one was hilarious because it's like it's funny because I have a hard time catching on to jokes like that. Like I have a
Mm.
really hard time not falling into those traps. So like I
Yep.
fell right into it, and even the priests were laughing because it's like you fell into it. Like ah, darn it. I don't know. It was funny like that. And so that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty funny. I mean, I definitely fall into jokes like that all the time. Like, you know the like if you hold your hand up to like your face, like
Oh,
you have
that one.
cancer or
Yeah, I
whatever.
fell into
Yeah.
that one real fast.
Yep, me too. And like if you rub your hands together really fast, they smell like peanut butter.
Mhm.
Like I was like a 10-year-old girl and my like 5-year-old brothers are pranking me and I'm just like falling into these. Like it was
Yeah,
it was
no,
really
I do that. My brother like he'll go online, he'll find some funny joke like that, and he'll do that, and I'll be like, what? And I'll do it, and then I'll get smacked, and it's like, ah, darn it! Like, how did
Yep.
I fall into that?
Mhm.
Exactly. Yep, that's totally me.
All right. So, what is your schedule for minor seminary? Like, what's a day in your life, sort of thing?
Well, it's like we have math. We get up at 6:25 on a normal schedule. There's mass, and then after that, it is breakfast. After breakfast is like a 30-minute period between like a break period where dish crew does dishes, and then everyone else just kind of like chills out and gets their books ready and hangs out until it's time for class. Then Father Benedict at 8:30 gives announcements if there's any, and then we go straight into Latin class. After the Latin class comes math class. After math class comes history, and then after history it's theology, and after theology it's hit English. After English, well, no, after theology is lunch, and then there's noon prayers, and then after noon prayers is um another 30, like another usually around 15-minute period to put you wash your own dish, and then you get over to class. And then when you're there for class, after that comes English class. After English class comes health class. After health class, if it's Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, it's PE. And if it's Tuesday or Thursday, it's choir. PE is a lot of fun, and I can't say the same for choir though. It's ever not. I don't think a lot of people really enjoy choir, you know.
Mhm.
And so, but I mean, I'm glad we do it. It's fun class, it's a good class to learn, but it's not our favorite class, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
that makes sense. Yeah, you kind of need to know how to sing if you're going to be serving a mass. So
yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I
exactly.
can't imagine like not being able to sing and serving a mass. That would not go over well.
That'd be
Yeah.
brutal. Yeah, that's one thing about like my little brother. It's like I don't know if he can sing or not. So like if he's like doing a high mass and he's got to sing, and it's just like because okay, my dad is tone deaf. So like if that runs in the family
Oh
with like
man.
Nicholas, that'd be so bad. Like I don't. I'm hoping he's not tone deaf, and I'm hoping he can sing.
Yeah. I don't think I'm tone deaf. I haven't been told I'm tone deaf. So, and
That's
well,
good.
I took 2 years of what's it called, singing courses. So that was tough, but it helped a lot. So,
Yeah,
that goes.
I bet.
Yeah, that's good.
All right. So, do you have any advice to boys who like would be considering going to minor seminary?
Yeah, I would say totally do it. Like even if you just go for a year, at least you're giving God some time. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
that's the best way to do it is just to go, give God some time, and then if it's not for you and you know it's not for you, you can, talk to your spiritual director and he's like, yeah, it's probably not for you. Then you can go back and live your life there. I think that's the best way to do it, and that's why I'm trying to conduct it, is to just go and see what, the plan is, and then if I'm like, yep, let's keep going. You can do all 4 years and then be like, no, it's not for me. You know, it it's just how it goes, you know. That's how I want to do it, and that's how I think, that's how it should be, at least.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
that's
I think
good.
that's really good advice. Yeah.
hmm My uncle actually spent about 6 months in the seminary and
wow,
found out it wasn't for him, and now he's actually about to have his third child.
wow.
But yeah,
Yeah.
he went in thinking that, oh yeah, this is what I want to do, sort of thing.
Hmm.
And he was already going around asking all of his siblings. He's like, so how would you feel if you came to confession, like with me in there and everything like that? And they're all like, whoa, okay, that's going too far. But
Yep.
at first. You get used to it after a little
Yeah,
while. But
Yeah.
yeah, then he found out he's like, nah, this isn't working for me.
and
So
sometimes that that's how it goes,
mhm.
So, but it's always good to at least give some God some time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm. All right. So before Gianna asks the next question, I'm wondering what temperament are you? Do you know?
Yeah. From what people have told me, a sanguine choleric is how
Okay. I
it goes. I
yeah.
can't be shy. It's not in my nature. I can't stand it. Like I said, like being in a like I feel in a box. Like I can't move around and do the things that I need
Mhm.
to do. Like I don't. I need to be. If some random dude's on the street and he's like, "Hey man, what's up?" I'll talk to that guy like we were friends. You know, like it is not that big of a deal. Like if there's guys playing basketball, like, "Yo, can I join in?" And they'll be like, "Yes or no or whatever." Like that's just how it goes. And the choleric side, it's probably around the 35% choleric side. It's not huge, but like
Mhm.
it's there when I need it to be there. You know what I mean? Like if I
Yeah.
really do need to like take charge, it'll come out, you know. But I'm really like a chill guy, like a chill dude.
Hmm.
That's the sanguine side takes over more, but I really enjoy not being shy. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
no offense
Yeah,
to all the shy guys, but you know.
I'm literally the exact same way. Like it's crazy. I just love talking to people. Like I don't like being shy, like for the exact same reasons, but I am very boisterous and I get super loud. So I'm trying to
Yeah,
work
it
on it,
happens. It
but
happens to me too. I sometimes have to be like, you got to tone it down a bit. Like when I was
yes.
little, I was a hyper, loud, talkative kid. I could not stop
Hmm.
talking, and I had to be like
Same
told
here.
like, hey, you like pipe down a little bit. I'm like, I have so much to say. Like,
Exactly.
and
Yeah, it's
so
like I'll be editing and like listening to myself talk and I'm like, Gianna sounds so chill and like nice and happy and I'm just like yelling the entire podcast. Like I'm just so loud.
I mean, like, you know, sometimes it's good because like if there's a sanguine and a melancholic, like they can have a good conversation, but
Hmm.
it's the sanguine who starts the conversations, and then the melancholic will have someone will have good things to say, and it's a good mix. But I will never be melancholic. The only little piece of melancholic in me is that if my room or my desk area is messy, I cannot think, I cannot work. I need it to be,
Yes.
and it has to be it has to be look nice and look pleasing. Otherwise, I cannot work. My whole brain just shuts off. I have to go OCD on it and I have to clean it all up, and I can finally work again. And it's like nothing ever happened. But like
Yeah.
that's the only melancholic side from what I've been told is that part, the OCDing on my desk being messy.
Mhm.
So the rest of
Mhm.
it
Yep.
is,
Yeah, can't do that. Like it has to be clean. Like even if I'm
yeah,
cooking dinner, it's like okay,
yeah,
the whole kitchen needs to be clean. Otherwise, I cannot work. Like
exactly. It has it. If I'm cooking, the counter has to be clean. Dishes need to be put away. Dishes need to all be gone. And it's like if I'm also cooking, I need to have all of my ingredients out before I start cooking. Otherwise, I'm like, I've already like have all the ingredients and I'm like missing one crucial ingredient. I'm like, I just wasted all that food. Like, like
Yes.
that's how it goes. It has to be, everything needs to be there. And then I'm, ready to go. So that's the
Yeah.
only like melancholy area, you know.
yeah.
So I'm not too phlegmatic. Sometimes I'm phlegmatic, but it's usually like on things where it's like I have no authority or disposition to do. And that's the only
Mhm.
time I'm phlegmatic is that area. But like that's very, very rare because I'm usually like gonna talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yes. I totally agree.
So, do you get to serve a lot, like at seminary, at church, whatever?
Well, back here, I used to serve a lot at our chapel, but now like I'm up there, there's like 9 of us, so like everybody has a day to serve. And so, and then Thursday we do two servers, right? Because it's a schoolman, so that takes care of the odd number, right?
Mm,
So we do it then. For since I got there till probably the first week of December, I was on Friday every single day, like not every single day, every single week I was on Friday. It
mm,
was all the time. And so that just everyone knew that was my day. But then on December, on that week, I got switched to Monday. So it was like a complete overhaul. Everyone, all the guys were like, "What? He's on Monday now. He's supposed to be on Friday. You ruined the streak." And so we were all making jokes on that because it's like it's always Friday. Everyone else has like these random days or whatever, but like for me, it
Mhm.
was always that day.
Wow.
that's funny.
Did
Yeah.
you
But
did
it
you
was all
go back to
coincidental. It was. I don't think it was on purpose. I don't think they like purposely, did that. So
Mhm.
Hmm.
Wow. Did you ever like get to go back to Fridays after that one week or like now are you Mondays?
I think I went back went to a Friday once, and then it was back to random days. I think then I ended up serving a Wednesday and a Thursday, and I was like, oh, so,
Breaking the streak.
yeah.
All
That's funny.
right. So, um, what is your favorite mystery of the rosary?
It'd probably be sorrowful. I really enjoy the sorrowful mysteries.
Really?
So
Okay.
I know it sounds like really like sad, but like that's my favorite mystery. I think it's probably because the first mystery I memorized by heart. So
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I don't know the glorious by heart. I know the joyful and the sorrowful by heart, but I don't know the glorious yet.
Hmm.
really? Huh.
Not yet.
I
That's
mean,
interesting. Yeah.
I know the fourth. I know the
that's
fourth and the fifth one, but I don't know the third, the first, and the second.
Okay.
yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I think you're the first teenager to come on that has said they like the sorrowful mysteries, which is like weird
Really?
to me. But yeah,
Yeah.
everyone's like, "Oh, I just like joyful or glorious because they're happy." But like nobody really likes the sad stuff unless you're
I know.
Gianna.
There's like a
But
little tiny bit of melancholy in there.
yeah,
Just a little bit.
just a touch.
Yeah, just a
Yeah.
touch. And I think it's because like my dad's a melancholic a little bit. He's more. He's like his sanguine side takes over a little bit more, but like in home he's like melancholic and stuff. My mom is my sister's melancholic, my brother's melancholic, and so it's like. But then my mom, my little sister Scarlett are all sanguines. So it's like there's three sanguines, there's three melancholics. So and it's like
Wow.
all the
Okay.
melancholics are good at math and do art, and I'm like, oh,
I
Yeah,
know,
that's
like my grandpa, he's really melancholic, like more than me. He's very melancholic. There might be a little choleric in there, but it's mostly melancholic. And he is just so artistic and he's very good. Like
Yeah.
he helped build our church up here. Like he helped build all of it, and he did a lot of the paintings for it. Like there's this one Saint Cecilia painting in the choir loft, and it's really good. Like he does all that, and he like sculpts stuff. Like he was a carpenter and everything.
Hmm.
And some of his artistic traits passed down to a few members of my family. It
Yeah.
did not pass down to me. It skipped. But
It skipped a
yeah,
generation.
yeah, exactly. But so that's annoying. But
Yeah.
yeah, it
I
is.
wish I wish I was good at all. I mean, hold on. I'm not gonna lie though. I've been practicing like these 4 months at the Idaho, and I've been getting really decent. Like not good, not like I wouldn't say like I'm good yet, but I've gotten like really good at shading and proportion. But at the same time, it's like, and then you're like, yeah, I did really well. And you look at my dad's and my sisters, and you're just like, yeah, I'm not there yet. Like
Yep.
it's
Yeah.
just like crazy, you know, these like real beautiful, real nice like shading and stuff, and I'm just like, I just want to
Mhm.
be able to draw fun things, you know?
Yes.
Like,
Mhm,
I don't know. I work on drawing like cartoons or whatever to like get better, you know.
mhm.
I can't do hands though.
Yeah.
I have a hard time drawing hands. It just messes them. I mess them up so much. Either they're huge or they're too small, and it's just like, or they're like there's these huge wedges like frog hands or something like that. I'm like, ugh. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can't draw. I like literally cannot even draw a stick figure. But it's nice because like my entire family can't draw. We're just like really good at music for whatever reason. And then like, so I've been playing violin for 8 years or 8 or 9, I don't know. And it took me until like this year to get good. Like Elias, when he started, was
man,
just amazing. And it sucks because he doesn't have to work for it, and I had to work my butt off to try to
yeah.
get decent at violin. And it's like it's annoying, but
No, I
it's whatever.
understand how that is. Like, my sister just clicks with math and clicks with art, and it's like I'm having to work for those. Like, I have to work
Hmm.
hard. Like, for 3 years, I've been trying to get good at art, and I'm like just now starting to see some inkling of like, actual skill level. And then it's like, you know, like
Mhm.
all these other classes, all these other subjects, I'm really good in, but I can't click with math, I can't click with art, and it's like.
Yep. Yes.
trying to
Yep.
get trying to
Exactly.
get good at them, It's a
Mm.
grind.
Mhm. Yeah.
But
My dad, I mean, it doesn't really work since he's a sanguine, but no, I'm just kidding. But my dad is very good at drawing, but like he's really good at drawing like ears and
mm,
eyes and that sort of thing. Like he's done pictures of my mom like just hand drawn and everything. And I'm looking at this like, "Oh, I can do that." I try it, I'm like, "No, I can't do that." Or like my brother Elias, he's just like really good at school and like math just comes easy to him and everything. And then my brother Bennett was struggling with it. I'm like, hey, I have a buddy, someone to relate to. And then all of a sudden Bennett starts getting better at math. Like he understands it now, like it's clicking with him. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? I have been
yeah,
doing this since kindergarten and I'm still not good. I still don't get it. I'm like, no.
I know. I get that. I completely get that. I will say though, that my what's it called? My friend has been helping me in math, and it has helped me a lot more. Like I feel like students teaching math is a lot better than teachers
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
I feel like they get a little bit better. Like they understand math more in terms of like tactics to make it easier and like more easier formulas and not like, well, the
Yeah.
square root of pi and all this junk. And it's like, I don't understand that. Just tell me how to do it. You know,
Yeah,
Yes.
like
exactly.
It's like
it's like,
my mom and I butt heads a lot during math because she's like amazing at math and I don't understand how. So she's like, "Why don't you know all this basic stuff, Annie? Like you should know 2 plus 2 by now." But
exactly.
and it's like I don't understand it. Like I'm sorry that you get it, but I can't do it, mom. So yeah, I
No,
mean,
I get
I
that.
don't.
That's me and my dad is really good at it, like really good, and so I get help from him. But sometimes I'm like, it's not me trying to be difficult. I just am difficult because I can't understand it, and so then I get in
Yeah.
trouble, or I get like, you need to do better. Like I'm trying to help you, and you're making it difficult. I'm like, I'm not trying to make it difficult. I'm just not understanding. You know,
Yes.
like
Exactly.
and then it's like I try to get my sister to help me, which is tough using that as it is. But then she's a melancholic, and she's not confident enough to show me how to do it. So she's like,
Oh.
I probably am wrong. And it turns out she's right. She just doesn't have the confidence to do it. And so it's like, ah, you know. So,
Mhm. Yeah,
but
I get
Yeah.
that.
it's hard
Hmm.
because beginning of the year I was doing okay in math. I was getting B's, and now I'm like a C and B student. So I'm like, oh, like, or I haven't seen a B grade in so long. It's been like months since I've seen a B grade, and now it's like I haven't gotten an A. I've never gotten really an A in math. My final grades for math have always been like the most a B, but like
Hmm.
Mm,
I know I don't. It's like a C usually, except for this year. I didn't
yeah.
do too well. I didn't do too well last year, so I'm having to redo one. But anyways, you know, like I'm hoping to do well. And I got permission to do Algebra 2 at home for the summer because my dad's good at math. So I got permission to do that.
Okay.
So if I do that, I have to do math my junior or senior year. So hoping to.
Oh,
Nice.
So
What grade are you in this year?
I am, what's it called? I was, I think I'm 11th grade because I'm 15, right? So it'd be 11th grade.
Yeah, I
really?
think a 10th,
Wait,
10th or 11th, I think. Wait,
Mm.
when's your
which one?
birthday?
My birthday is May 15, 2009.
Okay,
So
so then you're probably 10th or 11th. Yeah, I don't know. I actually don't
Yeah.
know.
I
Yeah, I
don't,
don't know.
yeah, I know it's one of the two. Hold on, hold on. So let's say 12th grade is your last year, which is senior year. 11th would probably be
Mhm.
junior. So 10th is the grade.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
because
yeah,
10th
like,
my
would,
I'm
mom.
since 10th would
15
have to
and
be
I'm
sophomore,
10.
ninth is freshman, 8th is
Uh-huh.
right before you enter high school. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom has this joke that like homeschoolers never know their grades. Like they'll be like, "Oh, what grade are you in?" And I'm like, I'm either a senior or a third grader. Like I don't know."
Yeah, yeah,
But
Yeah.
exactly. I'm
yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
one of the
All
two.
right.
You know.
Exactly. All
Yeah.
right. So, moving on from math again. Um, what is your favorite choir song you have like sung so far, if you
Oh
have one?
man. Probably Star of the Sea or Guide of the Wanderer. I don't know what the hymn name is, but it's like, "O Star of the Sea, O Guide of the Wanderer, pray for us sinners,
Oh,
please pray for me." That one to Our Lady.
Mhm.
That one is my favorite
yeah.
hymn. I love
Okay.
that one. It's
That one
beautiful.
is really pretty. Yeah.
I don't know, it almost sometimes like if it's sung well, it almost makes me like want to shed a tear, but I have to like
Yeah.
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
dump down. But
Mm-hmm.
like it's a beautiful, beautiful hymn. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely.
Mhm.
Most church hymns are really pretty like that, and if you like actually understand it and like really
yeah.
get deep like involved in it, then it's like, oh yeah, I want to cry now. But
Hmm.
yeah,
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Who is your favorite saint and why?
I'd say my favorite saint would probably be Saint Patrick, who is my confirmation saint. I don't know higher like what no, no, I don't know. I know why. Because I've had a devotion to him since we were like Anglican, because we're converts to Catholicism in general.
Oh,
So
Mhm.
really?
yeah. So he was like my favorite saint there. And I think it's because he was Irish. Um, but we're not Irish, we're Mexican. I know I don't look the part. So but anyways,
Oh,
we're
really? You're
yeah,
Mexican? Oh,
we're Mexican.
I guess yeah.
Ibanez is Mexican. My dad, my sister, my little sister, my little brother, they all look Mexican. But I get my genes from my mom majority. So I'm like
Aw.
tall and I have red hair and I'm like crazy, Snow White. So, but like they're all like, you know, dark skinned and brown, black hair and like I can't be like that. But I like it. I'm not disappointed. I'm tall. So, but at the same
Yeah.
time. But so we're that, but like, what he did in Ireland, and converting all of those people and the amount of impact Ireland had on the church, on the continent of Europe is itself, restoring it after, the barbarian invasions and stuff. Like that was awesome. And it was all thanks to him. Like if he didn't go there, conversions would never have been made in Ireland. Therefore all that stuff
Mhm.
Yeah.
wouldn't have happened. So,
Yeah.
and I think my second one would be Saint Cyril of Alexandria. He was awesome. So
Okay. Well,
That's
I
cool.
mean, those are both really good saints. It's actually funny that you say St. Patrick because for St. Patrick's Day every year, my dad tried to memorize like I forgot, I think the
is
Lorica of
it
St.
Saint
Patrick,
No, I think it's
is
the
that
St.
what it's
Patrick's
called?
breastplate where it's like that whole like it's like it's a litany of prayers.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah, so he tried to memorize that. And he is like the worst memory in the world. So he told us when I was like 6, he was like, I'm gonna memorize it. And I'm like 15 now. And he like looks on his phone like this, pretending like he's memorizing it. So I made it my mission this year to try to memorize that. So by St. Patrick's Day 2025, that should be memorized. We'll
Hopefully.
see. That's the
Yeah.
goal.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know a little bit of it, but I don't know it entirely. I probably like mess up the order like really
Yeah.
bad. But like I
Yeah.
know some of the phrases, just like the order is completely
Mhm.
like jarbled up. So,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
they do
Mhm.
huge things for St. Patrick's Day in the church over there in Idaho. So like it's my patron saint. So that's pretty cool. We have like
Yeah.
this huge festival and stuff for it. So
Hmm.
That's cool. Yeah. Wait, so you said you were Anglican. Have you been like Anglican your whole life until like now? Or
no, when I was like from probably year 3 till 7, I was Southern Baptist, and then from there,
Hmm.
I was from 7 to 9, I was Jewish. 9 to 11, I was Anglican, and then 10, and then 11 to now, I have been Catholic. But it
Wow.
was adult Latin Mass Catholic from 11 till 13, and then 13 all the way till now. I was what's it called? Actual Catholic. So a good two
Wow.
years.
wow.
That is a really like you jumped around from a lot of religions. That's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that's
2 years.
crazy.
Yeah, we learned. We tried to learn Hebrew. I had to. I know. I still know a little bit of it and how to pronounce certain words, but like it's still like I haven't done it in a really long time, but like it was
Yeah.
drilled in. So it's like I know a little bit of it in terms of like how to pronounce it and
Hmm.
certain words, but like most of it I've forgotten, sadly. So the one I think
Oh,
I hope I kept up. I wish I kept up. So.
yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's crazy though, you've been set of conscious for a very short time and then you're already like thinking about going
Hmm.
to seminary. Like that's
Wow.
insane. Like and you
Yeah.
bounced around from place to place to
Yeah,
place.
Hmm.
That's really
That is
it,
cool.
it,
crazy.
it was an intense journey.
Yeah.
So.
Wow. That's that's really cool. I could go on a big rant like asking you questions, but we should probably move on. So what is your favorite quote of all time? Like religious or non-religious?
There's a lot of them. A lot of good movies had a lot of good quotes. Um, I want to quote something funny, but it's like that's not it needs to be something like cool, cool sounding. I think one
Hmm.
that encompasses everything that I've done, subconsciously or consciously. I say subconsciously because I've done it subconsciously multiple times, and sometimes people are thankful and some people aren't thankful. But I would say like the Veni Vidi Vici, that whole thing. I came, I saw, I
I came, I
conquered,
saw, I
or whatever.
conquered. Yep.
That
Hmm.
one would probably be the one that entitles me most. You know, like sometimes I just do it subconsciously. Like sometimes I just make a lot of good friends and then like ended up becoming like the center. And then people that were used to be the center are not fun, they're not like enjoying that. And
Hmm.
then they get mad and it's like, well, I wasn't trying to do that. I was just talking to people's and that's it. And then, stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like consciously or subconsciously that happens. So I think that's the one that encompasses me the most. I really like that quote.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I definitely like I have the same thing. Like I'll go into a room and I'll just like make friends with whoever's in there. Like I'm
yeah,
just one thing that I'm really good at is I'm good at talking to people. I'm not good at shutting my mouth. So it's like it's a good
exactly.
thing sometimes. And then like you said, the people who are the center like get mad at you and they tend to not like you. And then it's
Yeah,
like, well, I'm sorry. I'm just
talking to
like
people. Exactly. That's
yes,
how it goes every
exactly.
single time. I would go in
Hmm.
and I'm like, to this event my mom and dad want to go to. I'm like, it's probably not going to be very fun, right? But I'm like, gotta go be social. So I go and I'm like talking to all these different people, right? And I
Yes.
end up like making good friends and I end up like, becoming the center. And the guy who was the center is not fond of that. And I make enemies with that guy and his pals. And
Yes.
it's like, oh boy, like I wasn't trying to do that. Like, you know,
Hmm.
I'm a
Yeah.
tall talking redhead, and that's all I can say. You know, like
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
like I
You
mean,
make
but it's
friends and
awesome though,
enemies wherever
because
you
like
go.
yeah, exactly, because talking is fun. And but yeah, I don't know. That's the one.
Hmm.
What is your favorite movie?
Oh, that is tough. There's a lot of them. Um, but it's not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is not my favorite movie. Um, so it isn't. I've seen a lot of good movies. Um, some movies you guys have probably never heard of. Um, I'm trying to think. I was talking about it the other day. I forgot it. It was a good movie that I really, really enjoyed. I forgot what it was called. Um, awesome. So
All right. So for your last question, what is your favorite sport of all time?
basketball, hands down, best sport. It Basketball is so fun. It's like really fast paced. My adrenaline like skyrockets when I play that game. Like it's super fast paced. You're like going, and you have to pass, and you gotta like dribble fast, and then you shoot, and you make like an awesome 3-pointer. And especially when you're tall, and you just like snatch the ball out of some poor guy's hands. Like
Hmm.
after he shoots it, like it is awesome. Like it is one of the best games. And then after
Yeah.
that, probably be hockey, then soccer, and then football's okay. I don't mind football.
Yeah, I was pretty good at soccer when I was a kid, but I'm like not that sporty of a girl, I guess, you know. I mean, I watch
Yeah.
football a lot because I grew
Dude,
up with
watching
boys.
football is a lot of fun. Watching football
Yes.
is so much because
Yeah.
I don't enjoy entirely playing the game, but
Hmm.
because everyone's like, let's not do tackle football, let's do like touch tag football or whatever, and I'm like, I hate that.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to like, oh man, I touched you once. It's like, no, you double tap. I'm like, I don't care. Like I just
Yes.
if I
Exactly.
tackled you, you don't have the ball. You know, like that's how it goes. Like that's why I think why I
Hmm.
don't like playing the game is probably because I don't understand all of the rules entirely when we play the game. Like I know when I watch it because they explain it to you when you watch it, but like when playing it, it's like you have to remember all of the rules. You know what I mean? Or when
Yeah.
the certain in and outs. So that's tough.
Hmm.
But then it's like nobody wants to play actual tackle football. So it's like everyone's like, no, you got to double tap. It's like I don't care. If I actually tackled you, you'd be gone. You know, you wouldn't
Exactly.
be able
Yes.
to go. So I technically
Hmm.
got you. You know what I mean? And so it's
Mm.
just like, but I mean,
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think that's the only reason why I don't. It's not my favorite sport. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
My
All
brothers,
right.
whenever they play like football, baseball, that sort of thing, and there's like no ref, no coach sort of thing, all of the boys will be fighting over the rules constantly, and then they don't end up playing anything.
exactly. So
Like,
we try to play mat ball over there, and everyone hates mat ball now because there's like just there's like rules all the time. It's like rule number 379 says, and it's like I don't care, just play the game. And it's like
yeah,
Yes.
he stepped off the mat, he cheated, I think. And it's like if you think he stepped off the mat or you saw a glance that he stepped off the mat, you have no room to talk. Just play the game. We spend more hours, more minutes talking about who did what than we actually played the game. It is so annoying. Like that's why
exactly.
basketball
That
isn't like
is.
that. They're like basketball is like real simple. It's just like
Hmm.
go, throw it out of bounds, you just throw it back in, that kind of thing. It's real fast paced. But like for that one, it's just like roll number 300. It's like, please, like it's just so.
That is. That is literally the most real thing I've ever heard because we play this game called Gaga Ball. If you guys know what
No,
Gaga
oh no,
Ball
I
is,
play that game all the time, and it is just all these people. They go
it's
so
so
rule bound.
annoying. Yes, and it's like we played on our tramp because we didn't have a Gaga Ball pit,
Yeah,
and it's so Gianna's laughing at us raging right now. But we played on our tramp, and it's like my little brothers get so mad because oh no, it didn't hit me below my legs. Oh, you hit me in the arms. I'm
yeah,
not out.
and
Blah blah
it's
blah.
like,
Oh, you hit the net. You
it
double
just
tapped. It's like oh, stop
it's like
talking.
honestly, like for real, it's like if someone hit me like that, either if I don't know that it hit me, I'm just gonna keep playing the game. If they claim it hit me, I'm not gonna argue over it for 30 minutes. I'm just like, okay, fine, it hit me, and just get out of the game. And that's how it should
Hmm.
be. And then we'd all play and
Yes.
it'd all be a good grand old time. But it's like rules, rules, rules. This is the little rule book. This is how it's supposed to be played. I'm like, just play the game. It's not that hard. Just
Exactly.
play the game.
Exactly.
If it's undisputed, and you just play. Like
Hmm.
Mhm.
you spend more time on rules than you do actual the game. So
Yes, that's and it's like my brother Benjamin is like the biggest choleric you will ever meet in your life. He is like so rule oriented and he has to be in charge. So when we play games, like so one of my siblings ends up crying because of him because he's
yeah,
just like,
no, I
"You're
know
not
how
following the
that
rules, get
goes.
out."
I know how
Yes.
that goes. Like And then my parents are like, "You just play the game. Stop being like that." And he's like, "Well, I need to."
Exactly.
He's like, "I need to play. It needs to be real. It needs to have the rules." And I'm like, "No, it doesn't. Just play the game." Like, I don't know.
Yes.
It's just like you can be choleric. That's fine. I'm choleric, but you don't have to go that choleric. You know, like, and
Yes.
it's like you're working with little kids. You let them, dilly dally and the way they play. That's fine as long as they're not being too rule breakery, but like
Mhm.
just let them play. You don't ban them, from playing because they don't
Exactly.
know the rules. So
Hmm.
I don't know. I just like rules. I
Yep.
mean,
I'm
well, I
with
mean,
you.
rules make it fun, but just there are rule keepers, and they are not fun sometimes.
I totally agree with you. Yep, I could not agree with you more.
Yeah, ugh, it's hard. So,
Yeah.
but
All right. Well, that was our last question, and it was really fun having you on. So, do you have anything else to add before we let you go?
not really. I'm super glad to be on. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah,
It was a
thanks for
lot of
coming
fun.
on.
It was
Hmm.
really, really a lot of fun. And I enjoyed it, and it's good to vent about math here and there, So,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
and rule
Yeah.
breaking. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
thank you for having me on.
All right, so that wraps up episode 25, and thank you guys so much for listening. I know we ranted a lot and it was a long episode, but I don't know, we kind of just really got into this one for some reason
Hmm.
because it's something we could actually speak out about because like it's not like we're going to be talking about like the commandments and the sacraments and like how you follow them or like theology or whatever, but like it's like this is something we can actually talk about because we're living this right now. So it's like,
Hmm.
it was I feel like this is one of our better episodes.
I know, like the topic was so good. Yeah, like because Annie and I were trying to come up with a topic for it, and we're like, what do we do? And the only thing that we had, we were like, oh, let's do an easy topic, so we don't get anything wrong. And our topic was meatless meals, and we're like, well, the moms would probably enjoy that. Um,
Hmm.
but
But the
we're like,
teenagers will be like,
yeah, exactly. So we were like, all right, well, let's think of something else. And we thought of, hey, what if we do a saint quote, or this one was a quote from our Lord himself, and then just talk about that. It worked out so well. I mean, he helped so much.
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy how God always just like helps you when you're at your lowest because I'm gonna be honest, guys, we were stressing really hard this weekend. Like I don't know, Teens and Faith is all like smiles and like, I don't know, laughter, boisterous Annie, calm Gianna, taking her down from cloud nine. But like, yeah, it's like, it's a lot of work prepping these episodes and coming up with these questions and doing all the editing, but it's fun. Like, we don't, the thing
Hmm.
that my mom's always talking about is she's like, I feel like you guys just do this for yourselves, and we're like, yeah, it's our excuse to talk. Like we just we
Yeah.
like doing it, and like all the people we've met, and all the priests we've got to interview, and all the bishops we've gotten to interview, like it's been really fun. It's been really real.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
plan
it
on doing
is
this for a
actually
long
really
time.
cool. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, it's really cool. All the people that we've met on here, like, not necessarily like, hey, we're gonna be best friends now, like with all the people we've
Yeah.
interviewed, but we've got to talk to all these people and, like, know a little bit more about them, know their background, or like priests get like really good what's the word for it? I don't know, spiritual direction
Yes.
from them, and like even learn more about the priests themselves and their
Hmm.
backgrounds, because like a bunch of them converted and like when or like
Yeah.
Bishop McConaughey, like that was insane.
Yes.
But yeah, and it's just like it's been great. So yeah,
Hmm.
we actually do really enjoy the podcast. Yes, we do stress out about them sometimes, and we're like, oh, I don't want to do this, but
Yeah.
yeah, it is really fun. We enjoy it. So
Hmm. Yeah. So thank you guys for stick around for all of our bad episodes. Yeah,
yeah.
there's been a lot. It's funny. It's so funny seeing like what episodes get more views and like what don't. Because like we don't like just for the record, we don't care about any of that, right? Like we'll look at it sometimes and like we'll see the comments, but it's just like we don't care about that. Like it's like
Mhm.
if one person listens or 1,000 people listen, like it's not gonna make a difference to us at all, you know?
Mhm.
So it's just yeah, it's just funny looking at that and like you can tell like the episodes that we like were stressed about and we were like, this is so bad, they always get the least amount of views. So
Yeah.
it's funny, it's so funny how that works. But
Hmm.
Yeah. Anyways, so that's
Yeah.
our long rant. Sorry this was a very long episode. Yeah, we'll try to keep them shorter, guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, so hope you all have an amazing week. And as always, God bless and Saint Philomena.
Powerful God, pray for us.